Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Hot Topics. How are you guys? Glad that you're here. Oh, this is good. I actually have my 120 life in there. This morning I needed a little inspiration, so I channeled. This is my old Wendy Williams mug. It is time for Hot Topics. This is when Wendy would be doing her thing, right? We miss her. That was some good morning TV. It was actually the best. People didn't realize it then. You don't know what you got until it's gone. But welcome to Hot Topics, everyone. I'm really excited that you're here this morning. I have to tell you some stuff. Oh, showtime, Dennis. Let me know where you're streaming from. First order of business, as you know, like, thumbs up, hit that like button. Producers, put it in the top of the chat, pin it. And so I'm going to do, before we get into the show, I'm going to just do some business. So, because sometimes we do it at the end of the show, right? But I just want to make sure that you hit the like and the thumbs up. And I want to let you guys know, because they said, let people know earlier, that at the top of donlemon.com, you don't have to show it, Andy, but if you go to donlemon.com at the top, tickets to see D.L. Hughley and me, because the tickets are going mass sale this week with like radio promotions and all that stuff. So I wanted to give the Lemon Heads, the Lemon Legends, the Lemon Nation a chance to get the tickets. You may as well show it, Andy, if you have it real quick, to get the tickets to see D.L. Hughley and me around the country. And I know we all usually do that at the end, but it's at the top of donlemon.com. Raleigh in 4-3, Cleveland 4-4, Boston, Massachusetts 4-17, Virginia 4-18. So before like those radio and whatever promotions start, they told me to warn the Lemon Heads because they would go. Okay, that's what they're telling me. So that's it. And we got new merch, which is also on donlemon.com. I love this shirt. Saw it this morning. I ripped it out of the bag. What do you think? And that is on a little bit further down on the page, to donlemon.com, on the merch page. And when the merch thing, just click and you can get this. I didn't know. Tim is in charge of the merch store. He loves it. Tim is a salesperson. That's where he came from. Now he's still in sales. And so you can grab this baby right here if you would like to. It's on the donlemon.com. It's a long sleeve tee, okay, under merch. So thank you for that. Okay, guys, where are you? Team, where are my producers, correspondents, analysts? I see Canada is here. Don, good morning from Canada. British Columbia in the house. Raleigh, North Carolina. I see Perth, Australia is checking in. New Jersey is here. And I'm glad you guys like the shirt. Tim has great taste. Yeah, he is great. He runs it by me, but still. NYC, Ocala, Florida. How is it in Florida? Chattanooga, it's getting warm, guys. It's going to be cold here next week, though. We got a warm little taste of summer. Toronto is here, Las Vegas. Oh, my God, I love it. Let's see, Duval, Queens. Someone's in Queens. Hello, Queens. I lived in Queens. I used to live in Astoria. Memphis, Tennessee's in the house. Chicago. I can do this. Central New York. I can do this all day. Buffalo. Love it, love it, love it. Albuquerque, New Mexico. I love Albuquerque. I used to go to Albuquerque, go skiing. Let me know if you know about Durango. We would go to Durango and ski. My friend had a house there, and it was right on the Durango in the mountain there. Is it Sandia Mountain? And we would go to Durango. So it was really, 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 really great. Okay, Nashville's here. Okay, so listen, guys. I'm going to start you. Apex, North Carolina. Love it. Okay, so I'm going to start you with a question for you before I get into what's happening, because I think that I am, a really good person. And so under normal circumstances, if someone asked me this, I know exactly what I would do. I'd be like, Louisville in the house, Denia, Florida. I know what I would do. I would do the right thing. I would do the right thing, which I think would be to return such thing. But is that the right thing in this moment? And I'm going to ask you, this is sort of a what would you do moment. What would you do? What would Jesus do? What would the Lemon Heads do? WWLD. What would Lemon Nation do? Okay? So pay close attention. You guys ready? You guys ready? Are you ready? Brighton, UK? You ready? Okay. Hi, Twitch. Hi, Substack. Okay, here we go. Roll it.
All right, so we're outside Taco Bell, and my wife found this freaking wallet in the drive-thru, and it has a grip of cash in it, and we're trying to see see if we can find an address so we can take this freaking wallet back, and me trying to do the freaking right thing, Makes me want to do the fucking wrong thing. A white privilege card is in there, okay?
I'm keeping that for sure.
That shit trumps everything. Members since birth, good through death, card holder scar free. He's not getting shit back. I'm not gonna say who this belongs to, but damn, I'm still gonna do the right thing though. What do you guys think, chat? What should I do?
What should he do? What would you do? What would you do? Someone said, what is the background noise, Don? The window's open and there's construction. What would you do? WTF? I want to know in the comments, Detroit, what would you guys do? Someone has a white privilege card in their wallet. I'm cleaning out the wallet, someone says. Give the wallet back. Can we do a poll? Give it back or keep it? What would you do? Give me the money reparations. I'm going to tell you at the end of the show what I would do. Okay, I'll tell you at the end of the show what I would do, and you let me know if you think that it is the right thing. But that's a tough one considering what's going on. Okay, so here's where we are this morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. It was a little bit of a test for you. So again, let me know. And make sure you hit the like and the thumbs up. It affects the algorithm. More people become aware of our channel and our conversation, and they will, spread the word for us. Okay, so, Lemon Nation, it didn't take much, but I want to tell you the truth about what's happening with the war in Iran that you maybe are not hearing on the mainstream or the corporate media. You might be hearing it in some places, but overall, the message from the White House is getting out. Are they accurate? Is it all real? The United States may have already lost this war. I believe that the United States in this moment is losing this war. I don't think there's anything that's positive that's come out of this war. Short-term pain for long-term gain. That's what they're saying. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Okay. But let's take it in the moment right now, because the price of oil is about to go up indefinitely. We don't know. Overnight, 3 oil vessels were struck near the Strait of Hormuz. And here's the part that tells you where this is going. None of those ships were American. The most severely damaged was owned by Thailand. That's according to a shipping company. That shipping company. 3 crew members are reported missing and believed to be trapped in the engine room. 2 other ships received minor damage, one owned by Japan, the other by the Marshall Islands. No sailors on those ships have been killed. But here's the thing. If I am a shipping company, I don't feel safe sending a ship through there ever again. At least for now, I should say now or ever again. I don't know. It's tricky. Remember, this comes after Iran started laying sea mines in the Strait of Hormuz as well. So look, this is where a lot of the oil comes from. Like some of it comes from pipelines, but a lot of it comes from ships. So the United States can strike Iranian mining vessels all at once, but it doesn't take many mines to create a crisis. If even a few slip through, that's enough to make shipping companies think twice about sending tankers through one of the most dangerous choke points on Earth. And that means the damage is done already. But don't just take my word for it, okay, that we're losing. Because do you guys remember Newt Gingrich? We were talking about Newt Gingrich this morning. He was a former Speaker of the House Republican. I didn't even realize that he was still around. He is just not out there at all in the zeitgeist. And this is what Newt Gingrich said on Fox News.
Look, there are 3 huge challenges that this administration has tackled. The first is that, and they should have frankly moved on this on day one, they have to keep the Strait of Hormuz open.
Yes.
I don't care what it costs. If they can't keep it open, this war will in fact be an American defeat before very long, because the entire world, including the American people, will react to the price of oil if the strait stays closed very long. So I lived through this with Reagan, as you did, in the late 80s. Keeping the strait open is the #1 job because it buys you time for the 2 other jobs. The second job is we're going to discover that the Revolutionary Guard is tougher than we thought it was, better connected, and have at least 200,000 people who are true believers, and they have no future. I mean,
Right.
Trump can say unconditional surrender.
Right.
These folks know if they lose power, they have no future. And the third challenge is, how do you arouse and organize the street, the 85 million or so people in Iran who do not want the current regime, but they're unarmed, they're unorganized, and that has to be solved. These three problems are going to decide whether this was a stroke of genius or, frankly, a step into quicksand. And I think that the president has to focus very hard on solving these three issues.
Okay. That is on Fox News. And you see the host there. I don't know. Is that Kudlow? Is that his name? And it's like, wow, we don't want to hear this. We have been saying here from the very beginning, we've been talking about Iran's pain tolerance. It's higher than America's pain tolerance because America is look, let me tell you what's going to happen if this goes on any longer. And I don't believe that it's going to go on any longer, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But if this does happen to go on any longer, so we have lots of munition, lots of weapons, whatever, we've given lots of weapons to Ukraine. Donald Trump is going to have to go hat in hand to Zelensky possibly and ask him for some of those munitions back after he insulted him in the Oval Office, because it takes a while for the builders of such munitions to refill that stockpile of weapons. And so if they keep using them, right, they're going to run low on that. And Iran is waiting on a ground war. That's what they want. So do not be fooled about, we've got this and all this bluster that comes out every day and mine's bigger than yours and I can blast further and we've done this. That's all propaganda. Okay, what does that mean? You blew up some buildings, awful, people are getting hurt, whatever. But what Iran is trying to do is force us into a ground war, because that's where they will win. That's where American lives, more American lives, the most American lives will be lost. So their pain threshold, their tolerance is a lot higher than America's. The Iranian government is filled with hardliners who have nothing to lose. As a matter of fact, the person that they put in is more of a hardliner than the one before him, who was his father. Meanwhile, pro-democracy protesters could lose everything, and Americans hardly know anything about this war, other than it's making them pay more at the gas pump. And if you listen to Republicans, reopening the Strait of Hormuz isn't exactly their top priority. This is Senator Scott on that.
Senator, if it were possible to do so safely at this point, why isn't the U.S. Navy escorting ships through the strait?
I can't tell you the answer to that, but I think right now it's still a dangerous situation. It's going to take a while for us to get control over the Strait of Hormuz. The most important thing we can do right now, and our job right now, is we'd love to get the gas prices back down. But the most important thing is destroy Iran's ability to, produce a nuclear weapon, destroy their military, their ballistic missile capability, and hopefully, right, we end up with a country that wants to work with the world community and not be constantly destroying through all their proxies. So, I mean, we all want gas prices to come down.
Do you guys look at the gas prices? Look. I'm just going to say, just look at the gas prices. Do not believe the hype about short-term pain for long-term gain. How often have we heard that from this administration? We heard that with tariffs. And guess what? The tariffs are killing us, meaning killing our economy, our ability to be able to afford to feed our families, to buy goods at prices that seem reasonable. Try buying a car now. Try buying a home now. Try buying basic goods. Try getting basic health care now. Because of these tariffs have had a ripple effect, a domino effect on the rest of the economy. And guess what? People keep, what do they say? The definition of insanity is that you keep doing the same thing and hoping for a different outcome. So Donald Trump keeps saying the same thing to you when he screws up and he doesn't know how to govern. He keeps saying short-term pain for long-term gain. They said that about tariffs. They said that about when the government was shut down. All of that. They've said the same thing. Give us time. It's going to and it never got better. It never gets better. So when are we, I'm going to just say we, when are we going to stop falling for this? I never fell for it, but meaning Americans. I mean, look at gas prices. Hey, look, I'm flying around on a private jet. I'm flying around on, well, not a private jet anymore. His family's around. He usually does, flying around on that. He's flying around on a jet paid for by taxpayer money, which he is hauling his entourage, his posse, meaning all of the people, all of his advisors, they're all there. We're paying for it, including the people who have to cover him, the press who insults at every turn. And so we're paying for it. He's flying around and living in government housing, our money, the people's house. They are, many of them as well. We're paying their taxes, and they are making money. They can hold out. I'm saying we're paying their salaries, and for them to live there through our taxes. But they can hold out maybe on some short-term pain. But can you, let's be honest, can you hold out for that? How long-term is your short-term, or how short-term is your long-term? Like what can you, because as far as I know, last time I checked, most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And so I think it's insulting, it's insulting to all Americans, but it is even more so insulting for the people who voted for him. And I'm just going to be honest, if you look at them, many of them are poor, working class people, not highly educated, no college degrees, high school dropouts. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Those are the facts. And he says, we love the poorly educated. And so those are the people he's asking for some short-term pain for long-term gain. The people who can afford it the least. So am I taking some crazy pills here? Because this is the party that claims to care so much about prices and the economy, and yet they would rather go along. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that soundbite finished, Andy? Sorry about that.
About 10 more seconds.
Okay, let's listen to 10 more seconds, then I'll go on. Go ahead.
He wants gas prices higher. This president doesn't want gas prices higher. But we have to be realistic. If you believe that Iran was going to use nuclear weapons against us, we had no choice but to do this. And there are problems short term.
Okay. If you believe Iran was going to use nuclear weapons against us, Iran did not have the capability for a nuclear weapon to reach the United States of America. There's a thing called diplomacy, and also there are strategic things that you can do where you can pinpoint and target things without declaring war on an entire region. For something, according to all intelligence, that was not an imminent threat. There was no imminent threat that Iran was going to attack America, especially too far, not going to happen, and no imminent threat that Iran was going to attack Israel. They said so many different things about this. Well, Marco Rubio said Israel was going to attack Iran, and then Iran was going to retaliate, and we had to stop the retaliation. So that means we're fighting Israel's war. Or that Israel is dictating our foreign policy. And in some ways, our domestic policy. So this is a party, I digress, but this is a party who said there have been so many excuses. None of them have panned out. I've read so much, and then yesterday I was like, I'm going to stop reading because there's nothing. I'll pick this back up tomorrow, and perhaps there will be some legitimate reason for them to go to war with Iran. And so I'll just wait. I'll just wait. Maybe that will come. Maybe they'll figure it out tomorrow. And then, okay, I open up the paper and I read, and it's not there. It's the same old excuses. And then Donald Trump says it's one thing, and then the people go out, his folks, and they say it's another thing, and then he contradicts them and goes, no, that's not it. But this is a party that's supposed to care about prices and the economy, and yet they would rather go along with a Department of War, which should be the Department of Defense, as we know, a Department of Defense vanity project, so that Donald Trump can feel like a big man conducting regime change across the planet, even though they say it wasn't supposed to be about regime change. That wasn't what it's supposed to be about. But then now, all of a sudden, it is about regime change. But the bill for that regime change, it's a fantasy. A bill for that regime change fantasy that has only delivered what? More severe hardliners? More uncertainty in the Middle East, more uncertainty for the stock market, more uncertainty for gas prices, more uncertainty for product prices. You are paying for it. You're paying for it. Andy, do you have the report from MS Now where he went out to interview the people who are out on the streets? I think it was Florida.
Yes,
I sent it this morning. Okay, so this is what is happening. And when I say working class Americans, his constituents, the people who supported him, it's more of an insult to them because they can least afford it. Out of any, all of the rich people who voted for him supported, said, I'm going to make you so rich. And all of the people like the Bessants and what's the other guy who was in the Epstein files? Why can't I remember his name? You guys know what I'm talking about. Lutnick, Howard Lutnick, all of those very rich people, some of them close. I mean, whatchamacallit is almost a billionaire, I think, Bessant. He's there, halfway there. All of those people can afford it, the rich people who support him, but not his everyday core supporters. And that's why it's so insulting. Are they waking up? I don't know. Watch this.
Do you regret your vote right now?
Well, between him and her, I thought he was the better choice, but honestly, I miss my Uncle Joe. I was a nobody, and I was balling then. Now, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even show you $5 in my pocket.
We spoke to Trump voters here in Florida who are ticked off about the fact that the gas prices in the state have gone up by an average of about 60 cents within just a week.
I would just wish he'd keep up on his campaign promise and say he was going to put it under $3. He'd end that war so fast. But here it is, 5 years later, helping his buddy out get his more money. And then never mind charging us Americans all sorts of money for fuel that you just stole from Venezuela.
And those gas prices are getting higher because of volatile oil prices due to the war in Iran, a war that these Trump voters tell us they hope wraps up quickly.
If I could, speak to the president, I just encourage him to finish up this war and get us back to a safe world.
He's saying about for our safety, leave somebody alone, they won't bother you.
Hopefully this conflict over there will end, it's just unfortunate.
The overall vibe here at the gas pump amongst these Trump voters is they feel like the economy is not going well right now.
At the moment, I'm really out of work.
My hope is that it's temporary and it doesn't last for too long, that oil prices come back down. That's my hope.
Now, we talk about FAFO. Now, I'm not laughing at those people. But is it called Schadenfreude? What's the term that I'm looking for? I guess it's just FAFO. And it's just really rich right now that those people did not understand, some of them did not understand the moment. They did not read the room or read the country, their wallets, the bullshit that was being told by Donald Trump. They didn't read between the lines, so to speak, of what was happening in the manosphere. The people were going, oh, great. And then he said, you heard what the first guy said. I thought that he would be better than her, meaning Kamala Harris, when they said, and what was the reason for that? There are myriad reasons. But I think the reasons for that, one, misogyny in this country. Can't believe there can be a woman leader. And look, my belief has always been, since I have been aware enough, is that if you want to get something done, hire a woman to do it. When I was at CNN, the people who ran my show, women. People I give most of the breaks to, women. Because if you want to get it done, women of all different ethnicities understand pretty much what it is like to be discriminated against, what it is like to sit in a room and give ideas, and then a man comes in, 30 seconds later, say the same thing and do this, and they go, oh yeah. So women are like, I'm going to get this shit done. One, they have a point to prove, and one, I just think that they are, pardon me, fellas, but I think they're the most evolved of the sexes. Sorry. I was the only boy. I grew up, women raised me. I think they're the most evolved of the sexes. Women are not knuckle draggers for the most part. And so they believed that BS that was spread out there. And now you have the Republicans who are there, right? The ones who you saw in that report. And then you have Republicans in general, meaning in the Republican lawmaker leadership class. They aren't willing to call the war what it is. This is from the LA Times, of Republicans not willing to call the war what it is. And this is from Jonah Goldberg. He says, look, Republicans aren't willing to call the war for what it is. And scroll in just a little bit, Andy, because they're afraid. And obviously they're afraid. We're just going to read the top part of it. So let's state the obvious. It says, we're at war with Iran, even though the administration is saying it's not. My evidence, turn on the TV. U.S. forces are working with Israel. They killed the supreme leader in Iran, many of his top aides. We sunk Iran's navy and destroyed most of their air force. We bombed thousands of military sites across the region. President Trump, the commander-in-chief, has deemed unconditional surrender from Iran. He routinely refers to it as a war. Pete Hegseth, who calls himself the Secretary of War, also describes this as a war daily, such as last week when he said, we are set the terms of the war. The truth that we are at war is simple. Only politicians and lawyers could make it seem complicated. And then he goes on to talk about, and so once you're at war, what does that mean? That there are certain things that you got to do in order to either to continue to facilitate that war, whether that's through, well, first of all, you got to have some dough, and you have to have the weapons to be able to fight it, and you also have to have messaging and a plan. A plan would be good. A plan would be good. Wait, so in this moment now, you have Republicans who are behind the scenes saying, oh shit, the midterms were already in jeopardy. We maybe had somewhat of a fighting chance, but we thought maybe we weren't dead on arrival, but with this, we're DOA. We're DOA. And then you have, speaking of the manosphere, Andy, I want you to roll this, and then we're going to go to the break. I want you to roll this. It's a short soundbite of Joe Rogan. And that'll give you an indication of where I'm going to go after this, because you're going to hear from a whole slew of Republicans, a whole slew of manosphere, or just a couple of manosphere people about where we are, how we're screwed. We didn't vote for this. Please, Mr. President, make it stop. Roll it.
What just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
The Don Lemon Show is brought to you by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Now, I've said it before, and I believe it more than ever right now. Equality under the law only works when government stays neutral about religion. The First Amendment wasn't written to protect one religion. It was written to protect all of us, believers, non-believers, and everyone in between. But that promise is under pressure right now from Christian nationalist groups who believe that their religious views should shape public policy and control how everyone else lives. That's where the Freedom from Religion Foundation comes in. They're a national organization fighting to keep church and state separate, defending students, families, and communities from religious coercion and government overreach. So if you believe freedom means freedom for everyone, this work really does matter. So you should visit ffrf.us/Don or text Don, that's DON, to 511-511. That's ffrf.us/Don or text Don to 511-511. And help protect a country that belongs to all of us. Text fees may apply. Support comes from BioOptimizers. Now, listen, I want to tell you about something that I'm trying as part of my nighttime routine. I kept hearing about magnesium breakthrough from BioOptimizers. Friends were talking about it. People in the wellness world were all talking about it. And they all kept saying the same thing, that this one is different. Well, most magnesium supplements only have one or two forms of magnesium. Magnesium breakthrough combines 7 different forms, plus cofactors that help your body actually absorb and use it. So I decided to give it a try myself. People say they notice deeper sleep, feeling calmer, better recovery after workouts, even better digestion. But you know me, I like to try something before I recommend it. So far, so good. So I have a challenge to you. Try it with me. Track your sleep, pay attention to how you feel, see if you wake up more rested. And here's the best part. BioOptimizers offers a 365-day money-back guarantee. That's a full year. Zero risk. So go to biooptimizers.com/Don Lemon. Use the code Don15 to get 15% off of any order.
But just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
Again, so that was Joe Rogan saying, and all of them now are like, wait, what is going on? They believe the hype. They should have known from the very beginning. Don't you guys? Let me know if you agree in the comments. And by the way, hit the like and the thumbs up. It affects the algorithm. More people become aware of our channel. People have been asking about this. Thank you. Tim, what did you say? I love your shirt. He loves my shirt. Thank you. DonLemon.com on the merch thing. So they should have known then. But when they came in and they decided to name the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America. Okay, that was idiotic. And then they said, we're going to change the Department of Defense to the Department of War. And so that should have been an indication. It's like, wait a minute here. If you are the president of peace and no more forever wars and not sending young men and young women off to fight other people's battles around the world, not to be, as J.D. Vance called it, the police of the world. By the way, Andy, find that J.D. Vance soundbite for me, please. I think it was from yesterday. Not to be the police of the world, then why are you calling it the Department of War if you are not planning to start wars? That should have been an indication. Here is J.D. Vance. Watch.
When people like Kamala Harris send our sons and daughters, our young people, to fight in stupid wars, it is the young generation that carries the burden of that. We're going to stop sending our young people to faraway lands. We are not the policemen of the world. We need to use our young people here at home. But if you're worried about the world spinning out of control, if you're worried about a military draft, if you're worried about, God forbid, a world war, the best way to prevent it is to vote for Donald Trump.
These people will say anything. Does he even stand for anything? Does he even believe anything? He's done like a 180 on everything. 360 would be going all the way around. He's done a 180. He's gone from I can't stand Trump to comparing him to Hitler, all of that. And then they go, they're comparing Hitler and Nazis. Like, well, it was J.D. Vance, your own vice president, that did it. So J.D. Vance has done a complete 180. And why? Because he has no morals. He has no scruples. He doesn't believe. He has no standards. He doesn't have any strong ideological beliefs except for himself. That's what he believes. He will say anything that he thinks is politically or professionally and power expedient for him. That it helps, if that will help. And so now, where are we? As you hear, there's construction going on. Sorry, close to me. So where are we right now? We're up the shit creek. I guess, can you call it the shit creek? Can you call it the Strait of Hormuz? Maybe that's it. We're up the oil creek. How about that? We're up the oil strait without a battleship. That's where we are right now. And now these folks are like, hey, this is not what I want. What's going on here? Hey, I was tricked. I was fooled. Were you fooled? Or were you in it for the money? Were you grifting just as everybody else was in the MAGA movement? Here's Joe Rogan.
The whole situation internationally has been so tense already with what's going on in Gaza, with what's going on in Ukraine. It's like, and to add this to the pile, it's like, I mean, it genuinely feels like there's a real possibility that we might be entering World War III.
What would that look like?
I don't know. I never expected Iran to start attacking. You know, they launched bombs into UAE, Dubai. I mean, where else?
And guess what? Hey, Joe Rogan, thank you. And we can just say thank you if you should, because I don't mean thank you for saying what you're saying. I mean, thank you. You did this. You helped do this. You and others who were spreading the Trump lies and propaganda and putting him on your show because you thought it would increase your ratings, for whatever it is, all of the folks who gave those people platforms, and even the corporate media who gave all of the fucking liars, insurrectionists, exonerators, pardoners, election deniers, for all of the just people who come on to insult people, the racists and the bigots, and all of them are pretty close to each other. A lot of them are racist and bigots because that's what you're either doing if you're part of the MAGA movement, or if you're not that, then you're overlooking it, which may be even worse. So you did this. And so now you can't be all somber about it like, right now, oh, wow, because you gave those people a platform and you talked about how much you liked him and you actually endorsed him and you buddied with him at the WWE matches and all that other bullshit, man, crap. That was you. And so take some responsibility for the lives that have been lost. Perhaps because of your support. I mean, in my opinion, take some responsibility for that. Say, damn, maybe you should say, I'm sorry, Mrs. Whatever, that your child had to suffer injuries because I supported this man. And not to mention all the January 6th domestic terrorist thugs, criminals. Have you seen the ones that now have like back in trouble with the law? PDF files, child molester, doing all kinds of crazy things. And you're like, these are the people that you pardon, who you pardon. Like, what were you thinking? We know what you were thinking. You thought, I got to pardon those people because they're part of a very valuable and vocal constituency for me. And if I pardon them, that will strengthen the support among those reprobates. That's what happened. And so now everyone's like, oh, I don't know. And then now there are people who are pleading, Republican lawmakers, for an off-ramp, like Josh Hawley, Senator.
Do you think the president is going to look for an off-ramp or keep going?
Well, I think that he's achieved his objectives the way that he's laid them out. And you just put it beautifully, Jesse. I mean, what is there really that's left to do that we haven't already done? I mean, we have demonstrated to the world and anybody who's watching, by the way, that we have overwhelming military superiority and we know how to use it. We have totally destroyed forever their nuclear program. We have destroyed their ballistic missiles. We have destroyed their Navy. I mean, this has been a total success in whatever it's been, 11 days. And I thought the president's remarks last night that he could declare victory today and it would be a 100% victory, I think is true. I think we ought to say to our heroes, thank you for a job well done. This has been absolutely amazing. It's been astounding. It's been historic. And now it's time to declare victory.
So two things there. One is that he is talking to Donald Trump through the TV, right? And two, and offering him some advice. And two, he's heard it also from the administration. And he knows, well, one, he knows what the polling is. He is offering through the television to give Donald Trump an off-ramp. And if you take this off-ramp, we will support that message and we will carry the water. I went back to my Philly days, the water. And the other thing is that he is saying, if Donald Trump doesn't know, like, oh shit, we are in trouble, this is what he needs to do. Because you see all of the Republican candidates who are losing to Democrats in Republican strongholds. So, and everyone is saying Donald Trump is going to declare victory early because he did not understand what happened with this war. National Review, conservative, Trump prepares Iran, off-ramp. So that's what folks are believing, that Donald Trump is preparing for an off-ramp right now. If he doesn't get off soon, we're in trouble. That means we're in it. If he doesn't get off soon, we may be into this at least till the midterms or after, right? or a long time after, because there's so many things that this could trigger with oil production. And if the fighting continues and someone over there, as we said yesterday in our show, some country strikes another country, they get upset, and then that becomes more of a regional and a proxy war, all of that. So he's going to have to do something really, really, really soon. And he's also, according to the reports, the Axios report, put that up. That's new, Andy, that just came in. Axios is saying, Donald Trump is saying something very similar. Axios saying exclusive. Trump tells Axios there's practically nothing left to target in Iran. So basically, they're saying it's over. But it's not over. He's just declaring victory for what? What is the victory he's declaring? When the person you helped to install by taking out the previous leader because you did not have a plan going into this war, that person is more of a hardliner than the other person. And in the process, you killed that person's father and his wife. And so this person now has nothing to lose. And you know what they say, the most dangerous thing, the most dangerous person to mess with is someone who has what? Say it with me in unison. Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. A word from our sponsors. This episode of the Don Lemon Show is brought to you by Graza, makers of crazy fresh olive oil. If you cook at home, you know olive oil matters, and Graza makes it simple with olive oil that's fresh, high quality, and actually affordable for everyday cooking. Their oils are never blended and made from some of the best olives in the world. You can even see the harvest date. It's right on the bottle, so you know exactly how fresh it is. They've got Sizzle, which is perfect for everyday cooking, sauteing, roasting, marinating. And then there's Drizzle. It's a bold finishing oil that's great for salads, bread, pasta, or anything you want to give a little extra flavor to. And they even make Frizzle, a high heat oil that's great for grilling, baking, or frying. I love hosting dinner at home, and good olive oil makes a real difference in the kitchen. Graza, it's always on my counter. So head over to graza.co and use the code LEMON to get 20% off of your first order. And here's what you should do. Look for Graza Mayo the next time you're in your local grocery store. Support for the show comes from Shopify. So picture this. It's late at night and you're up scrolling through your phone when suddenly you see it, the thing that you have been looking for. You click the link, add it to your cart, maybe browse a little more, and then you go to check it out or go to check out. But your wallet isn't nearby. And then you see it, that Shopify, that Shop Pay button on Shopify. Your information is already saved and checkout happens with just a quick tap. That is the sound of another sale. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and about 10% of all e-commerce in the United States, from global brands to entrepreneurs just getting started. And here at home, at my show, The Don Lemon Show, we use Shopify to bring you the merch that you love. Shopify helps you build an online store with ready-to-use templates, powerful AI tools, marketing support, and help managing everything from inventory to shipping and returns. So if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/lemon. So go to shopify.com/lemon. That's shopify.com/lemon. Thank you so much to our sponsors. Now, the continued insult on the American people is going on. And I mentioned it's not just that Donald Trump is insulting his constituents and the American people, but it's not just from Donald Trump. I want to play this. This is John Husted of Ohio, who is saying people in poverty, which are many people in this country, that they're just not experienced at the real world. Here it is.
And people living in poverty are just not very, they're not very experienced at navigating the real world, right? I remember talking to one young lady who said, well, I don't really know how money works at a grocery store because she grew up and has lived all of her adult life using SNAP cards to buy groceries. And so you literally have to teach people how to budget. If this the buzzword today, let's face it, it's affordability, right?
Well, I mean, Donald Trump said affordability. First of all, oh God, there's so much there. He said affordability was fake. Remember when Zoran Mamdani went around and saying, "Hey, look, the big issue is affordability," and everyone's like, "Hell yeah, that's right." And then because it caught on, Donald Trump was like, "It's fake, it's fake. Affordability. What are the Democrats?" And now Donald Trump is out. He's actually going across the country now on an affordability tour. So, but this guy is basically calling you stupid, calling Americans stupid, the people who are living in poverty stupid. Perhaps these people are victims of circumstances, perhaps that they have been put down in places where it's hard for them to get a break, where the proverbial bootstraps don't exist. There are no bootstraps for them. But how long can you continue to be insulted by the very same people that you voted for? I don't understand that. Is it some sort of torture? Do you have some sort of torture complex? I don't know. But they're lying to you about that. And they're also lying, like Doug Burgum, who is I believe the Interior Secretary, who is lying about the Strait of Hormuz. Now, we showed you the New York Times, the ships that are there, the one that they said ship on fire, the evidence from the different countries and different places where they say their ships have been blown up and that things are moving smoothly through the Strait of Hormuz. Well, Doug Burgum says that's fake news.
There's a lot. I'm reading the New York Times today, and they're claiming that you guys were caught by surprise that the price of oil went up. Is that true?
Completely fake news there, obviously. But one thing I would say with President Trump, who's been focused on bringing prices down since the day he took office, affordability has been a central part of this, inheriting these high prices across the board. But whether it's energy prices, prescription drugs, this entire administration has been focused on driving down prices. And the way you do that is with supply up. And of course, under President Trump, U.S. now #1 oil producer in the world, #1 LNG producer and exporter in the world. American citizens need to know that U.S. energy, we've never been in a more dominant or secure position in the history of the country than we are right now with President Trump.
So
not even he believes that than we are with President Trump. Back it up just to the end of that, because he's like, whoo, I said that. He's like, and then we have never been in a better, more dominant position than we are with President Trump.
Citizens need to know that U.S. energy, we've never been in a more dominant or secure position in the history of the country than we are right now with President Trump.
Even he knows, like, this is bullshit, but I have to say it. Come on, guys. You guys know that I'm not lying. You can see the body language there. You can see the body language there. These people are playing you folks for fool. These are the kinds of people who Donald Trump has. These people who are, maybe they're advising him. I don't know. Is he that dumb that he has these dumb advisors? I guess so, because he hired them. All of these people, these glazers, these yes people around him, that they're giving him fake or false information to make him feel good, because they know if he hears something good, he's going to like them more, and he doesn't actually prepare or read his notes or anything or his briefings. So these are the kinds of people he has around him. This is Nadia Shadlow. She's a PhD from Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies, and confidently, she was actually Donald Trump's former deputy national security advisor. She confidently says that Congress does not have the constitutional role in the declaration of war. This woman clearly has not read the Constitution. Now, I want you to sit back and relax. Sit a while, take your shoes off. And I want you to listen to what she said to Ezra Klein.
The president can make a case directly to the American people, and Congress's role is the power of the purse.
So the case for Congress is, once we have gone to war, if they don't like it, they can remove the money.
Congress does not have a constitutional role in the declaration of war. Congress has a role in cutting off funds for wars, which it has threatened to do. The president doesn't have to get permission, but yes, you can debate, you can decide. That's his choice and how he wants to do it.
I mean, here I will quote the Constitution: the Congress shall have power to declare war. Grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water.
I think
the president shall be the commander-in-chief of the army, but it is Congress that has the power to declare war.
So,
she's an advisor.
The Constitution says Congress has the power to declare war, but the issue is whether or not a president who deploys military force abroad needs to do so only after having Congress declare war.
These are the people advising Donald Trump. And just look to Pete Hegseth, who, the SNL guy is going to win the Emmy, and he doesn't really have to do anything except for go to makeup and let them comb his hair, fix his hair to look like, and put the clothes on. Colin Jost. That's all he has to do, and just say exactly what Pete Hegseth says. These idiots. Look at Kristi Noem. Look at Pam Bondi. Look at the entire Justice Department. Look at Kash Patel. I mean, he should have just crushed a beer can on his forehead. Maybe he did. Maybe the cameras didn't catch that. I felt like I was watching Porky's from the 80s. I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, and these other people, this woman was a former Trump security advisor. It's crazy. And speaking of and talking about idiocy and the people who are in charge and lying, Donald Trump has no credibility. Pete Hegseth has no credibility, but at least Pete Hegseth had at least the wherewithal not to go along with the president who said that the girls' school was struck by Iran. He's like, I can't really say that because that could get me in real trouble, and I don't have absolute immunity like this guy. But even Senator, what's his name? Badia, that's all, folks. From Louisiana, even he is now apologizing and voicing some serious concerns about the girls' school that was hit.
Though you actually talked to NBC News last night about that strike on the girls' school, and you said it was terrible. We made a mistake. I'm just so sorry that it happened. Why did you feel like it was important to say that?
Because I think it's the truth. I mean, we're investigating, but I'm not going to hide behind that. I think it was a terrible, terrible mistake. The investigation may prove me wrong. I hope so. The kids are still dead, but I think it was a horrible, horrible mistake. I wish it hadn't happened. I'm sorry it happened. Yeah, I can assure you it wasn't intentional. That's the sort of thing Russia does. We don't do that. But, I don't see any other possible explanation. And when you make a mistake, you ought to admit it. Most people understand no one's perfect. But I don't think our men and women who are fighting for us did it intentionally. I'll never believe that.
Fair enough. So speaking of the men and women that are fighting for us, I want.
Okay, and so that's what he says, and that's, hey, this guy is with Trump usually 100% of the time. This is Donald Trump just days ago on Air Force One.
Mr. President, did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
Based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hegseth? It was Iran who did that?
We're certainly investigating.
Still investigating.
But the only side that targets civilians is Iran. We think it was done by Iran. Because they're very inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions. They have no accuracy whatsoever. It was done by Iran.
Okay, by the way, Iran does not have Tomahawk missiles, which was used in that strike on the girls' school. This is what the New York Times is reporting. U.S. at fault in strike on school in Iran. Preliminary inquiry says. Again, outdated targeting data may have resulted in a mistaken missile strike. That's according to ongoing military investigation, which undercuts President Trump's assertion that Iran could be to blame. You cannot believe anything from this administration. I'm sorry. You just cannot. An ongoing military investigation has determined that the United States is responsible for a deadly Tomahawk missile strike on an Iranian elementary school. That's according to U.S. officials and others familiar with the preliminary findings. The February 28th strike on the Shajara Tayyebe elementary school building was the result of a targeting mistake by the U.S. military, which was conducting strikes on an adjacent Iranian base, of which the school building was formerly a part. The preliminary investigation found. Officials at the U.S. Central Command created the target coordinates for the strike using outdated data provided by the Defense Intelligence Agency. People briefed on the investigation said. Officials emphasized that the findings are preliminary and that there are important unanswered questions about why the outdated information had not been double checked. Striking a school full of children is sure to be recorded as one of the most devastating single military errors in recent decades. Iranian officials have said that the death toll was at least 175 people, most of them children. And Donald Trump has the nerve to stand his fat ass up in front of the cameras and the American people and say that Iran did it. This is his war. This is Israel's war. And they are the ones who should suffer the consequences. And Senator Chris Murphy is not of two minds. He is of a single, very strong mind. And here's what he has to say.
What is left? Why are we at war with Iran?
Great question. Yeah, great question. I mean, the simplest explanation, might be the one that they gave 24 hours in, that they've kind of tried to backtrack since then, which is that Israel made us do it. That Bibi decided on this timeline, Netanyahu decided he wanted to attack, and he convinced Trump to join him by scaring Trump into believing that U.S. assets in the region would be at risk, and so Trump was better off just joining Netanyahu. I hope that isn't the full explanation, but you're right. As we are now hearing that the nuclear program is not part of their targeting campaign, as we're now more confident that even harder line leadership is taking hold, as the Strait of Hormuz is still being shut down, even as we get their Navy, what's left as the explanation? It might just be that Israel forced our hand. And how weak does that make the United States look? How weak are we if our allies can force us into wars of choice that are bad for U.S. national security interests?
There we go. That's where we are right now on this very day, on this Wednesday, right here in the United States. We have an administration that is just incompetent. Man, I worry about this country, about the norms that have been broken, about the laws that have been broken. Look, the lawlessness of this administration, of this regime. I should stop calling it administration, of this regime. I mean, I hate to be Donnie Downer, but look at where we are right now. And the fact that some people are happy and taking glee in it, and they're so brainwashed, and they think that this is good, is just really sad. Is this who we have always been underneath the surface? Maybe it's good that Donald Trump exposed it. Maybe there's some way to correct it. We need to do better with our education system. We need to make sure that we teach people civics, make sure they understand the Constitution, make sure they understand the separation of church and state, make sure they understand the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of the press. There's a reason it's the First Amendment. It's a reason that Congress is mentioned first as well in the first article of the Constitution, that everything flows through Congress, even though that former advisor is too dumb to understand that. So maybe this is a wake-up call for us. And we need to, as Beyonce says, get information and do what Republicans do every single time they fall in line. And so perhaps Democrats, Republicans who don't like what's happening, independents who don't like what's happening should get information and make the victory in November so big that they cannot deny it, even if they try to steal the election. So people ask me all the time, what can I do? What should I do? Maybe you should be out there helping people if you can. If you have the opportunity and you have the privilege and the freedom to be able to go around and canvass neighborhoods, make sure people have what is required, even if they don't pass that piece of legislation that they're requiring. What is it? The SURE Act? What is it called? The SAVE Act. Maybe even if they don't pass it, okay, good. But if they do, you still have the documents that you need in order to be able to vote to declare it a resounding landslide victory across the nation, that we cannot stand this bullshit any longer. How much longer does this have to go on? I said during the first administration, there's a clip of me saying that on the news, like, how much longer do we have to deal with this? And it's not in a partisan manner. It is a human, American, patriotic, someone who believes in justice and due process. That's where this is coming from. That's where this is coming from. So that's where we leave you today. And I hope that you are informed. And I just have to tell you, just people love the lemon heads and the lemon nation so much that we have a friend of the show who has a plea to the lemon heads and the lemon nation and the legends and all of them. All right. I think he's looking for love. Cam Caskey. He says, he's hilarious. Remember, he's running for Congress here. 25 years old, 5'10", Scorpio, 145 pounds, Upper West Side, looking for singles, lemon heads only. I'm just saying. Sam Caskey is nookin' banub. If you know, you know. Nookin' banub in all the wrong places. Nookin' banub. Who knows that? Before you go, who knows what I'm talking about? Nook and Panub. Cam is shooting a shot. You guys know what I'm talking about, Nook and Panub. I can't play it because it's part of, yes, you got Eddie Murphy on SNL when he was doing Buckwheat. And he did Looking for Love, and it was Nook and Panub. Okay. If you want to know anything about the Don Lemon Show, you just go to Don Lemon. Thank you, Cam. I hope you find some nub that you're looking for. Looking for nub. DonLemon.com. You can go at the top again, at the top of the DonLemon.com. Tippy top, our dates for DL and DL. Anything goes. The shows are so great, and I'm trying to rejigger and do some things differently. And what can I do in the show to make it more interesting to get it? And so that's what I did a little bit last night. And so I'll do that. And then we'll figure out, we're refining, as they say, honing. DL and DL, anything goes. Raleigh, North Carolina, 4-3. Cleveland, Ohio, 4-4. Boston, Massachusetts, 4-17. Tysons, Virginia, 4-18. Get your tickets now before it goes wide on the radio and the promo campaign and all that stuff. I'm just letting you know, Lemon Nation. Okay. And then of course, down in the little bit, I just want to tell you that Twitch is there. We're doing a Twitch show on tomorrow at 3 p.m. just for the Twitch. So guys, if you're on the Twitch, we'll do that. And our show yesterday, a hit. Our show for our Substack members, our paid members on Substack, it was great. Did you guys love it? What a great talk that we had. It was amazing. Personal stuff. You asked me about everything, what's going on in my life, how the arrest was affecting me. It was just really great. It was just a thank you, Substack. I really enjoyed that. So everything you want to know, if you want to know about Substack, if you want to become a member there, you can. If you want to become a member on Twitch, it's the one that says stream all the way to the right that looks like a quotation mark. You can become a paid or free subscriber there. Same thing on Substack. And also on YouTube, which is our main page. You can go there and click the join button, which will make you a member. Right? You can become a member, very reasonable. If you're already a member, then what you can do is you can gift memberships to other people, and we appreciate that. We will need to enter a period of reconstruction after Trump. Thank you very much for that. It went away, but it was someone in the chat. Someone did a super chat. Thank you for that. And the memberships are very reasonable. There it is. Thank you. Devomo, thank you. Devmo, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Yes, we will have to enter a long period of reconstruction after this, but I'm ready. I'm a fighter. I'm a soldier. So thank you for that. And also, if you hit the subscribe button, the subscriptions are free. So like and subscribe, and we love you for it. So be informed without being, did I do the shit? Yeah, we're having the Twitch show. Yep. Substack show. Yep. Check. And YouTube. Check. And then thank you for joining us on all the other socials, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc. Okay? Be informed without being inundated until I see you back here at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Here. Hi, Barkley. Barkley, come here. Hi, baby. Say goodbye to the lemon heads. Say goodbye, Bark. Come on, you want to get up here without growling? Come on, baby. He growls. Say bye. Say bye-bye. Okay? Say hi. Hi, my baby. I love you so much. Turn the TV off. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.